Is it I'm the most beautiful count or I'm the most beautiful cunt? I guess both can be true at the same time. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Nemo Chan. This is where I complain for hours on end. So give me some validation, subscribe, like this, and waste someone else's time by sharing it to them. So I was discussing this with my daughter a few days ago. It came up because Yuri on Ice movie adaptation was announced canceled a few weeks ago after 5 years since they announced that it would be adapted. You can only imagine the outrage of fans that had been waiting for years. To quote one of my best friend, hating MAPPA is a full-time job now. MAPPA being the production company that will adapt it. To be fair, I kinda felt it was inevitable after the third year without any updates and without any progress. But I can understand that they should have announced the cancellation early on. And I mentioned to my daughter about the fans' reaction about the casting of this webtoon. And you see, my daughter is a purist and she definitely agrees about casting based on characters. She's more into danme, though, and bromance rather than BLs and yaois. She thinks most adaptations are cringe, but she's a teenager. She thinks everything is cringe. So you really can't take her seriously. I'm kind of glad I waited till now to record this because Change finally released a statement. But before we go to that, a week or so ago, Change announced their series lineup for the rest of 2024, and one of them is I'm the Most Beautiful Count, starring Supanot and Ping and a few others from the Pit Babe cast, like my son, Pop. And my honest first impression is I kind of like it. I'm a sucker for fantasy, so time travel. Well, this is more like a time body displacement. Either way, I know this will be up my alley. Two of my absolute favorites, BLs, are Be My Favorite and Absolute Zero. No pun intended. I've watched those two a few times, Be My Favorite with Gavin and Chris more than 10 times at this point. So I know right from the start I would like this. And I kind of just moved on with my life after that. Until last week, I saw a few posts about this adaptation from a page that I've followed for years. Guinea Y2, or just Guinea, is a Facebook page I've followed for the last 5 years, I think. They post yaoi recommendations or yaoi based memes. So when they posted about not liking this series, I'm kind of intrigued why. So it really got my attention. And disclaimer, their posts are in Thai, so some meanings are lost in translation, unfortunately. They did link a couple of Twitter posts that are in English, and I will get to them later. So they're criticizing the casting of the main lead, Mom Kosol, who's supposed to be a dark skinned native warrior. Yeah, I don't think I have to explain why that's a bit problematic. I can't believe we're having this issue in the year of our Lord 2024. The other main concern is how the storyline was presented in the pilot. I've only read a few chapters of this webtoon after I've heard this, so I'm not the best person to provide context on it. Why I haven't read it is I was busy reading something else. I was into roses and champagne at this point, so I only browsed through a few chapters of this webtoon. So let me read to you some of the tweet from Guinea. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm going to link it down below and you can browse through them on your own. Okay, so the series is political based and slightly focused on romance. The MC or the main character, um, Waradet, and the main lead, which is Kosol, are loyal to each other, but it's changed into harem plot, which does not exist in the story. Another one, hold on. For Chayachet, that's the young king. He's only 13. That's why he's a puppet king and always target in assassination. Not only the nobles but commoners also think he's just a brat who's incapable of anything. That's why he tries to prove himself to his brother and everyone. His character development is really good despite his intelligence. He's still a child, but I think they made him a teenager in the pilot, which is another complaint that they have. And then for Pop's character, Banjong, the glasses guy, seems to have feelings for the main character, Waradet or Supanot's character. But in the manga, he's not gay, only sees Waradet as his little brother. Plus, he harmed. Okay, so that's a bit of spoiler. Um, and the main focus is about the throne, power, and the brothers instead of the main character, which is Supanot's character, and the MC only plays a glue to improve their relationship in order to join hands and reform the country for freedom and the LGBTQ plus community because they were severely suppressed during the time. So as you can see, the line of the storytelling of the pilot is way out of what is really the point of the story, and that's where all the contention and the criticism comes from. This is another good one. This is from at WMXMWO on Twitter. For Interfans, I don't know if you guys knew the plot of the story before. The story is directly about politics and the king longing for acceptance as a gay man. Kosol is a hated royal, a rebel, gay, and had been imprisoned. He always lived like a soldier. Even in the webtoon Waradet, which is Sapanat's character, has also talked about Kosol's appearance that people don't like, which goes against beauty standard of the ancient Thai. Big man of 190. So he's tall, tan skin, sharp eyes, and fierce face. For Nongchet, the young king, he is a child king who is a puppet of the novels, so he didn't have that much power. The story is not looking for Waradet's lover, not creating a harem, not it being a comedy. It's a darkly funny webtoon that tells the story of the clash of political powers, and Nongchet is just a pawn in the board, and Waradet that come from the new era tries to help him to prevent history from repeating itself. If you want to check those tweets, I'm going to link them down below. There's a full thread of all of these in Twitter and also on Facebook pages. Okay, so the pilot does read like a harem. I'm not gonna lie. That's the impression that I got as well after I've watched the pilot. With Pink's character being the main love interest, with Waradet Tupanot's character being the main lead, and with Nongchet, the young king, being a sort of antagonist, I think. So that's what I got from the pilot. So after reading all of these posts from fans of the original webtoon, I can definitely see why there's a lot of criticism after the pilot came out. Okay, this is another thread from Why I Am Fly, also from Twitter. Kosol was whitewashed and looked like a Chinese man with kind and soft-hearted character, which is all wrong because, as mentioned previously, he's dark skinned. He's a dark skinned soldier. They adjusted Nong Chayet to be a teenager, not a 12-year-old, which is what's on the webtoon. And he seemed to have feelings for Waradet, but the worst thing is he pushed Waradet in the face of death in the pilot, which is also out of character for Nongchat. Disclaimer, I only read a few on that very long thread. So if you wanted to see everything, just go to Twitter. To be fair, this is Mom Kosol's first appearance in the manga or the webtoon. He's not just a red flag. He's a killer because he's the rebel outcast prince. And another criticism from the post of at Why I Am Fly is that the studio or someone from the studio keeps referring to this as a novel instead of a webtoon. The web novel versus webtoon, I guess I can forgive people outside of the fandom that might not be familiar with the terminology, but with everything that they got wrong, I can understand why people are starting to nitpick. Change released their statement earlier, or was that yesterday? So this is from their Instagram account. Regarding the recent social media feedback on the production of the series I'm Most Beautiful Count, we would like to clarify the following information released during our press conference lineup on April 25. The content that was publicized was merely a pilot series to inform all parties that this series will be produced. The purpose was to showcase the mood and tone of the series, which honestly, they kind of failed, not the actual content that will be on the series. Our company will require approximately 1 more year to complete the production of this series as we are currently in the script development stage. We appreciate all constructive feedback, suggestion, and useful comments, and we will use them as a guidance to ensure the best production of the series moving forward. We want to emphasize that our company will not remain silent if we find any post containing false information, offensive language, or defamation towards actors, executives of our company. Any damage to reputation, defamation, or hate speech will be pursued by will be pursued legal action by our company against the person who posts or shares such information. Okay, that was a mouthful. Okay, so let's start with the fact that this is a pilot and everything can change. They need more than a year, they said, and they're currently in pre production. So we're looking at the earliest third quarter of 2025 to the last quarter. That's a lot of time for them to take into consideration all these criticisms and backlash and move this to the right direction, not just for the fans, but for the creator and their original intent when they wrote the story. Because I think that's the most important part is that the adaptation is loyal to the intent and to the vision of the original work. They can cry creative liberty or whatnot all they want, but you have to somehow preserve and respect the integrity of the brand the creator established. And for all of those fans of the studio or the cast that's saying, I'm not going to show it because I don't want to blast the whoever commented, not to take criticism from the fans of the original work. And that's just not right because why are you adapting something that you're going to change so drastically that it's different and you could not even see the original source material anymore? Why just not do an original script instead of adapting something if you're not going to take the original work into consideration anyway? Okay, I'm getting heated. I understand that the conversation happened between Change and the creator, Yunkin, if I'm saying that correctly, I think. Please don't murder me. If words are hard, names are harder. Okay, so unfortunately, that's not an assurance that Change will listen to them. It depends on the licensing agreement the creators signed when they sold the rights to the studio. It can be that there are stipulations for them to be consulted or be involved in the adaptation process, or none at all. And the studio will have absolute freedom to make creative decisions. I do hope that they listen though. Like I mentioned before, I've been a Yaoi fan for a long time. I've been around when there's very limited adaptations, when the anime adaptations were shit, when everything you read is problematic. I've been in the deepest cesspool of the fandom since my late teens. And believe me when I say that was a long time ago. So I understand that the fans that are just happy there's an adaptation, but I also understand the fans that are loyal to the source material and demanding that adaptations be done right, especially with stories like this that have political and cultural elements to it. And then you start with whitewashing the main character. It's not even funny. So let's discuss the adaptation further. But before that, let me just echo what's been said previously. Don't attack the cast. It's okay to vent out your frustrations online, but don't be nasty. There's always a proper and polite way of voicing out your grievances, okay? Are we clear? Good. Okay. So I've said this before. I think adaptation should be able to stand on its own. Independent of the source material, I should not need to know the original novel or the webtoon to understand what the fuck is going on with the series. That being said, Casting is crucial to bringing beloved characters to life and capturing the essence of the original work. One of the main complaints of the fans or the studio is the studio does not understand the source material. Before casting begins, it's essential for the creators to thoroughly understand the source material. This includes the character's personality, backgrounds, relationship, character arcs. A deep understanding of the source material helps in making informed casting decisions that resonate with the fans. Fans of the web novels or webtoon for this particular one often have vivid images of the character in their minds based on textual descriptions or the illustrations, right? Casting actors who match the physical description or embody the essence of the character can enhance authenticity and maintain fan engagement. So going back to Guinea's post, Kosol is Thai. He has a Southeast Asian looks with tan skin. Despite his ethnicity, he's a warrior. He fought in the war, not in Andor Prince. So casting an East Asian looking with a fair skin does not make sense. I agree. Plus, he has tattoo. This one can easily be taken care of. That is common for a Thai warrior. As such, the tattoo is believed to protect the owner from any kind of harms. In short, he doesn't look like someone who's been through war. Ping does look like a pampered prince. Not gonna lie. Okay. But while physical resemblance is important, casting should prioritize the talent, of course, and acting ability of the actor. I'm just hoping he can convincingly portray the emotional depth, nuances, and complexities of the characters, as that seems to be the most important part with this particular plot. Okay, so adapting webtoons, it comes with the challenge of balancing fan expectations with the creative vision of the adaptation. While it's important to respect the source material and cater to the fans' desires, creators should also have creative freedom to make necessary changes for the adaptation to succeed in the different medium. Like I said before, adaptation should be able to stand on their own, independent from the source material. We should at least avoid whitewashing. It's important to prioritize diversity and representation, and avoiding whitewashing or stereotyping ensures that characters are authentically portrayed and that underrepresented groups are given opportunities to be represented on the screen, which is another contention against this pilot. And then in Nong Chayet's character, the young king. When casting, it's important to consider how actors' ages align with the characters' ages and character arcs. I'm not sure what's the thought process of aging up the king from a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old to a young adult. I'm not sure what's the age of that actor. I understand that while this is in pre-production, it's going to be an ongoing process, and feedback from fans can be really valuable for course correction and improvement. Continuous engagement with the fan community, listening to their feedback and making adjustments as necessary can help ensure that the adaptation remains faithful in the spirit of the original work while evolving to meet audience expectations. And a lot of people might say that the fandom is jumping the gun. This is only a pilot. And I say, if there's any best time to voice out criticism, it is at this point that it's still a pilot. So the studio can feel the pulse of the fandom, so to speak. Like I always said, there's always a respectful way of doing things, even if it's criticism. Don't target the cast or harass them. You won't get anything from them anyway. They're not the one making the decisions. I know there's always going to be feral fans. Every fandom has a problem child. Please don't color the whole fandom based on the problematic ones. At the heart of every fandom are very passionate, albeit very obsessive people. They wanted studios who do the adaptations to do right by the story that they've supported for years. People poured their heart and time and affection supporting these stories, making it as big as it is right now. They're going to have very strong opinions. That being said, please temper your expectation. The studio is not going to adapt this detail by detail. That's just not going to happen. But I think asking them to at least be in the same genre as the original work is not asking too much, is it? Oh god, the bar is so low. Change. Just be in the same genre. Put out a political historical piece instead of a harem. I think there's going to be casting change. I doubt it. This drama is such a good fit for Not, and I highly doubt they're going to change his partner at this point. I feel bad for Ping though, because whatever he does at this point will always fall short of people's expectations. He'll just have to up his game. He got a few months to buff up, I guess, and change. Come on, put some really good fake tattoo on him when you start filming. Though the BL industry does not have a good history of fake tattoos on actors, so I'm really concerned. I guess there's Win from Between Us. Those are good. Hire that artist. And oh god, please don't put a fake tan on Ping. That will be so tone deaf, and this series will crash and burn faster than a house of cards. We'll just have to let go of the dark skinned part of the character and stand your ground behind Ping. And Ping, well, my boy will just have to kill this with acting. So, adaptations, it's a delicate balance between honoring the original creator's vision, meeting fans' expectations, and allowing for creative interpretation to breathe new life into the story. And while fans often have strong attachments to the source material and high expectations for adaptations, it's important to recognize that adaptations are inherently transformative. They offer a chance to explore new perspective, delve deeper into characters and themes, and introduce the story to new audiences. Creators, production teams, and fans all play important roles in the adaptation process. Ultimately, whether it's through casting decisions, narrative choices, or visual aesthetics, the goal of any adaptation should be to capture the heart and soul of the source material while also offering something fresh and compelling. So, do I think that this series is going to flop? No. I think this series is going to find its audience. Not everyone in the BL fandom are webtoon readers. So there's still a lot of fans out there that's going to make this series a success. Just really hope that the studio does not lose the message and the essence of the original source material in favor of cliche BL drama. So who do you think is best to be casted for Mom Kosol? I've seen Net's name being thrown out there. I've seen Apple's name being thrown as well. So comment down below who you think is the best to be casted for this. Most actors that I've seen so far in the Thai industry has fair skinned. I couldn't really remember anyone off the top of my head that's a bit on the darker side, which is wild considering that we're in Southeast Asia, right? Just for the knowledge of international fans that are not familiar with the ethnicity of Southeast Asian, we don't look like Chinese. Some of us definitely have Chinese descent. We don't look like Korean or Japanese. Most of the Southeast Asian are Malay descent. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the Malays are described as tawny colored, which means brown skinned. So if you've reached this point, comment down below what have you read the webtoon? What do you think of the pilot? Do you think it'll be okay? Are you disappointed? If you don't know what to comment, just comment cunt. No, don't comment that. Just comment nong chat. I will see you in the next drama. No, in the next deep dive, reaction, review, rant, whatever I'm going to do in the next one. I'm probably going to go through GMTV's teasers, probably ranking it from the ones that I'm most looking forward to the ones I don't care for, which is a lot of them, I think. I did say I'm going to do a deep dive on Last Twilight and DFF. Unfortunately, whenever I watched Last Twilight, I couldn't get together a script because I just ended up watching it and crying my eyes out by the 12th episode again. And I'm on the fence about DFF because, yeah, I don't really have much respect to an actor that follows fucking Andrew Tate on social media. So No respect for incels. Sorry. Okay, that's it for me. I hope you guys are staying hydrated. Drink your water, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.